here in Memphis. Today we're going to try and interview St. Blues Guitars. They've done the guitars for Bono, Erick Clapton, and Glen Frey. They are by far one of the most prominent in terms of guitars in Memphis, and they're selling them all over the world. We're going to ask them to do an interview and learn how they're doing it, what they're doing to take that brand awareness they have and project that overseas.
Welcome to Memphis for St. Blues Guitars.
Greg and Robert,
Yes.
St. Blues Guitars.
Yes.
Can you talk us a little bit through the origins?
St. Blues was founded by a company called Strings and Things, which was founded in 1971 or 2. So nobody can remember. A lot of drugs back then. And so in 78, TK moved to California to help found Schecter Guitars. Well, when that went bust in 82, he came back to Memphis, and the guys at Strings and Things decided, hey, let's build a guitar line. So they did, and they called it Strings and Things Customs. So they took it to the NAMM show, and at the NAMM show, everybody's like, love the guitars, hate the name. So that's when they came. They took the Strings and Things, the S&T from Strings and Things, made the Saint, and then Blues just because we're in Memphis. And that was in 1983. In 84, they changed the name to St. Blues, and it ran until about 1990, sometimes into 91, because TK was still doing builds. And then it shut down because where they were getting their parts from was in Japan, and the yen basically almost doubled against the dollar and made it unprofitable. So in 2005, Brian Eagle decided, hey, this is a great thing for Memphis. We need to start this back up. So he worked with Chris and Charlie from Strings and Things and got it started back up in 2005. In 2006, they went a completely different direction and went, hey, we just need to do all the old St. Blues models and not doing just St. Blues on a guitar. And in 2006, that's what happened. In 2007, I came aboard and we decided, hey, we need to make them here in Memphis. And so around 2008 when we got started with that. And then 2011, we decided we just need to do that full time because we were importing guitars from Korea starting in 2006. And we decided that we're a Memphis brand, we need to make them here in Memphis. So we did that in 2011. And in 2011, everything from 2011 until this day has been made right here in Memphis. And for a year and a half in Bartlett. But for the most part, they've all been made here in Memphis. And we've been doing it, I've been doing it since 2007 full time. Robert's been doing it since 2015 full time. And in 2016, we bought the CNC machine, which made us make everything actually in-house. And so since 2017, when it got really going, we've been making everything in-house instead of using outside sources for our parts. The only thing we don't make in-house right now are the guitar necks, because it's so time-consuming that if we did that, all we'd be doing is making guitar necks. We wouldn't be making anything else. And there's people that do it better than me, and so I let them do it. And same thing with painting. I can't paint a guitar. I've tried. I'm horrible. But there's guys out there that's all they do is paint guitars, and so let them do that. Let them make a living doing that, and so that's what we do.
So you've made a few famous people's guitars.
Yes, a few.
Can you name a few of those?
I gave one, well, I didn't, Brian did, to Keith Urban, and he played it on his tour from when he got it. He played here in Memphis, and his next stop was in Atlanta, and the opening song, he was playing that guitar like the next day. And so he played that for that tour, the rest of that tour on that one song every night, and then he put it in storage, and when the flood in 2010 hit, he lost it because it floated to the top. Because everything was in storage in Nashville, and it kind of floated to the top, and he's just like, and that's when he started coming out with his own line of guitars, so that didn't work. But the other one, everybody in 38 Specials had our guitars. TK used to make guitars for Billy Gibbons all the time. And TK's history with Jimmy Page is just ridiculous, going back then. Our most famous one that Robert and I have done is Steve Sheff.
Yeah, Steve Sheff, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote Don't You Forget About Me. But,
Yes.
yeah, and
Yep.
so he gets a check every day. That song is everywhere.
Do you guys get a cut of that then every day?
No, I wish I would.
No, we wish.
But yeah, he lives on a boat down in Florida, so he's fine. He's okay. He's okay. He hadn't done anything since then, I don't think. But our goal is not to build them for, famous people.
Yeah.
We want people to play them.
Yeah, I'd like them played.
I want them to buy them.
So speaking of that, where do you currently sell? What are your points of sale, both offline and on?
Okay. Mainly it's online. I mean, almost 100% of what we sell is online, especially since the crazy coronavirus.
Right.
Where? Primarily, I mean, yes, most of our customers are inside the U.S., but we do sell, we have a strong following in Europe. We have a pretty strong following in Australia, out of all places.
That still surprises me.
So, you know, we will regularly ship somewhere to Europe.
Let's talk about how you build or maintain your brand with overseas consumers.
Wow.
A lot of it overseas, especially in Australia, is word of mouth. Because there was a guy that was basically, I can't remember his name, and I should, and he's going to be mad at me because I can't remember his name. But he's a very, very popular guy in Australia. And so he plays one of our guitars. And so a lot of people saw him playing that. It's like, hey, what is that? And so it just kind of took off from there. And then here in the States, Erick Gales, who's from Memphis, he plays our guitars every once in a while. And so everybody will see that and go, hey, what's that guitar? And we get a lot of people calling about that, saying, hey, I saw Erick Gales play your guitar, and I went to your site. It's like, hey, can I get a guitar made? And so that's happened more than once.
And then direct mailings. So we do a lot of direct mailings. We do Facebook ads.
Facebook ads, social media, Instagram.
Yeah, social media. And then the mailing. You know, we have a mailing list on our website, and people join it regularly, and so we'll reach to them regularly.
So you leverage the email mailing list that you collect. Mm-hmm. And what do you send out on the mailing list?
Just recently we had some guitars finished that are not sold already, and so we'll send that out and say, hey, listen, you know, we actually have something that, you know, for the masses.
Yes, they're sitting at my house right now.
And what's a normal budget would you say for a company around the size to be spending?
If you do $250,000 a year, and let's say that your gross profit is 50%, I would say that you are probably, you know, a reasonable amount would be 5 to 10%.
Yeah. 5 to 10% of your gross sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where would you put that money?
To the tribe. Don't non-tribe it.
Yeah.
That's another mistake. Again, sell to the people that want to buy your stuff. So.
And what platforms?
Like if I'm doing Facebook, I will specifically target my ads for things that are relevant to my product. You know, I don't do banners. I've looked into the banners. Banners is kind of like blindfold darts. You're not sure really where it's going to land. Amazon even. Yeah. Amazon ads. That's part of the problem with Amazon ads. Is it's blindfold darts.
It's just random.
There's just so many people on Amazon. You can't without real specific targeting. It's just a waste of money.
What marketplaces are you currently selling on around the world?
I would say before Christmas we'll be back on Amazon. I'm going to spend it overseas, targeting Europe. Like I said, not so much banners, but be targeted. Mm-hmm.
And on social media, you've got Instagram, Facebook, you've got the LinkedIn,
Twitter, LinkedIn, everything.
And then there's other
10,000 ones.
Yeah. Any particular hierarchy of platforms that you find work better than others?
You can follow the news pretty much and follow your platforms. Yeah. I mean, TikTok not so great right now. Wouldn't spend money on TikTok.
I'm not doing TikTok.
Twitter is good. Twitter is, you know, it's not perfect for us. It's mainly a word-oriented thing. Instagram, really good.
Instagram's really good.
Instagram, Facebook is good. Facebook, you attract an older crowd. It's not as young. Instagram's a little younger. You know, TikTok's real young right now, but that's not really that gets out of our demographics, really. I mean, I don't need 16-year-olds, so to speak.
Sure. What about selling to China, WeChat, etc., or LATAM? Do you guys deal with that at all?
No. I kind of avoid China. With some of our products, I don't know that I want it just kind of... you have a tendency of finding things get copied over there.
A lot. It's happened to us before.
It has.
Yeah.
In what way?
Just the whole cigar box thing. All of a sudden, they start getting worldwide, and all of a sudden you start seeing cigar boxes pop up. And
we build
bookstores.
We have a unique build, and I'm not really willing to let everyone in the world know that unique building that we do on them. Because our cigar box guitars are made out of cigar box, but they are not the typical cigar box guitar plans that if you downloaded, what you build and what we build won't be the same.
What about Latin America?
Would like to do it. Again, it's kind of they're on their own worst enemy. I know this probably sounds terrible. The more stable the region, the better and easier the sales. Mm-hmm. Europe and Australia are our main targets. We do some in Canada, but we kind of treat Canada as the U.S. as far as our marketing scheme. We don't separate and go, okay, this is going to be for Canada.
From marketing, but from a sales, like consumer and duties and tax perspective,
Canada is very, very good. It can be a very good place. It doesn't have a huge population, so I mean, you have to keep that in. Just because it looks like the size of the United States, it is not the size of the United States. There are not that many people there, and so you don't go in going, "Wow, I'm going to sell 100 up there just like I did down here." No, but
they don't live down here.
Stability in the region, economically, politically, all of it is very important with where we market to. That's why we focus on, like I said, Australia and Europe and mainly those areas outside of the continental U.S.
Do you guys work at all with the Small Business Development Center here or Commerce, any of those folks? No government. Okay, cool.
The biggest problem with us is making enough, not discounting them. Mm-hmm. So we don't run a lot of sales, so to speak. I mean, the major ones, yes, we will have something advertised and sale wise for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We're not going to just ignore it, but it's not going to be. We don't try to weekly sales or anything like that. It's mainly just hey, we've got this guitar. Why don't you check it out, look at it, and ask questions and things like that.
Are you personally engaging on Instagram and on Facebook, or you have somebody that does this for you?
It's me.
So you're literally on there
every day.
Responding.
Oh, yes. It takes up, in fact, it is the biggest obstacle because it takes up my time, and I run that. So.
What now? Does your son? I mean, you have a wife as well?
Yep.
So let's say your wife is sitting there, and you're on your Instagram, and your son's on his Instagram. Is that a common occurrence?
Well, yes, and I will actually. I will utilize my son and my daughter and sit there and go, okay, make my Instagram better. Make it where y'all would possibly see it. What am I missing? What keywords? What, that type of stuff, because they're more adept at it than me.
Right. What are some of the common things that they may say? What are some advice that you can also depart to others that don't have kids in the same age bracket?
Visual. It needs to be visual. Movies would be the best.
I like movies.
But needs to be quick. Don't make no 4-minute movie because there's a lot of TikTok mentality. So it's a lot of 30 seconds. Try to do it. What can you do in 30 seconds to a minute to, really impact and catch somebody's attention?
And what's an example of something you've done to do that?
Well, we have an advantage. We can make a very, very pretty guitar, and you get a nice picture that's zooming in right there, popping up. That's a good visual, especially if it's color. If it's a red or a green or a blue guitar, something not just brown. Mm-hmm. It really, and you do some fancy pan or something. All of a sudden, you're moving. It's colorful and catches their attention. And like I said, we don't sit there and say, we're not overdubbing saying, hey, save 50% or anything like that. It's just more of the instrument, more of the item. Mm-hmm. So.
You mentioned that some of the box guitars and an influencer. Sorry, I'll pass. But you said an influencer, obviously Middle East, who picked it up. That's probably pretty good Instagram-worthy content right there.
Yeah, it was. That was huge for us. That really got the cigar box going. He started playing one. He did a video. We asked him to shoot a video for us, and after he shot that video, our email was just blowing up. It's like, hey, where can I get one? You know, can I sell these for you? You know, everything like that. And so after that, it's like we really got into this. The downside was we kind of pushed to the side the guitar building and started doing more of this, because I would say since 2012, in the 8 years, I've built probably close to 2,000 of these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, worldwide. I had a guy in Germany that I was sending 15 or 20 like every 2-3 months because they were selling them like crazy. And then Amazon has just been ridiculous.
You sell them on Amazon?
We were, I don't know if, are we still? I think we stopped it for a minute.
We when the virus came on, we had to slow down our sales.
Yeah, everybody was getting bored.
And
They started ordering stuff.
well, and all these shutdowns, people don't. You know, yes, we can cut all the wood we want, but it's still got to have tuning gears. You know, just the simple little, you know, hardware became difficult.
Bone nuts.
Yeah, because a lot of the bone nuts, the real. The smallest of details, strap buttons, things like that, were made overseas.
Right.
Well, when that shut down, well, that's okay. Thank you. There's no more strap buttons. As stupid as that sounds, you know, you can't sell a guitar with no strap buttons. You know, it's a $2 item, and you're stuck because there are none.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So COVID hit. How has that impacted your sales?
It impacted sales because we had to slow the sales down. The impact was on the manufacturing side. We could not build enough product because we could not get enough parts to build the product like we had built the year before. We couldn't build it in the same numbers.
Let's talk about your website. Who maintains your website? What platform is it on?
It's me. I'm the webmaster.
He won't let me touch it.
It's on Shopify, which is fine.
We like Shopify.
It is a fine platform. You know, it takes care of a lot of other parts. The merchant part is all taken care of. It does fine. We still, even without pushing hard this year, we still will get 75 impressions a day off the website. And then if we do a mailing or something, it will go through the roof.
Okay, you're mailing, and then your lookalike audiences or anything like that on Facebook, you do?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What is the consumer experience right now from overseas? They go to your website.
They would go to the website. I purposely make the website a starting point, not necessarily the end point. The best case scenario is when the customers actually reach out and communicate with us, and we can dial in exactly what it is they're wanting, especially on a special order. You know, we use the phrase figured maple. Well, figured maple is a very wide-ranging term. It can look like A or it can look like B, and everything in between. And so a lot of times we'll talk to the customer and say, okay, now you want a figured maple top. Well, what do you like? You know, what guitars have you seen that you go, wow, that is a gorgeous piece of wood? And that'll help me pick out a piece of wood that matches their expectations. And then I'll send them usually an invoice. After we've talked, I'll usually send them an invoice detailing exactly what we talked about and give them a price. And then I'll email that to them through Shopify, and then they can pay it, and it'll be like a normal order. That's really how we really like to do the special orders.
So just so I understand, a U.S. person buying something off your Shopify site, there's items, they can purchase them directly, they don't necessarily engage.
And the same with the overseas, but we do a lot of special orders. Most of what we sell is a customer has contacted us to say, I would like this, this, and this on this model, and we make it. And
Or we tell them no way, because that color doesn't exist.
But you know, we'll be like, okay, we can make it, and you know, there's communication even with the U.S. ones. The only exception would be the cigar boxes. Cigar boxes, there's no communication. It is just a click and purchase. Even on overseas, in states, it doesn't matter. It's just I don't need to talk to them for that.
But for Shopify, for example, you're paying a couple percentage points for a transaction. but you're still actually doing offline engagement with them first for most of those purchases, and then sending them back to Shopify to purchase.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a lot of offline, off Shopify, yes.
When they actually purchase, what's the consumer experience from a duties and taxes, payments?
Shipping is easy. We've got different shipping promotions. The shipping is the easy part.
For example,
If they buy a really nice guitar from us in Germany, there's not going to be a shipping charge. I'll ship it free.
what's the item price more or less for that?
$2,000.
Okay, so you'll throw the shipping in for free for $2,000. Okay.
And because the shipping on a guitar to Europe typically is about $100.
Right.
Okay. So kind of like a discount right there. The duties and the taxes are the pain in the butt. I have nothing to do with them. There's nothing that I can do with them. And so it is solely up to the actual purchaser. It is one of the biggest discouragements of overseas sales is their own taxes, which, as I tell the consumer, you might want to get out and vote and tell somebody you don't like this. I mean, it's not. I'm not collecting the money.
It's anywhere from 22.
And
to
they have to
28%.
pay it on their side. It's not even in my transaction.
So 20 to 28%, you're saying?
Yeah, in Brazil it's 90%.
90%, right. So Brazil, do you have anybody ever buy anything from Brazil?
No.
We did, but I'm not going to tell you how they got there.
Well, and they're now saying, and that's the other part that's different on overseas. A lot of times, if they do want some American products that are nicer, it is easier for them to have a trip over here and buy everything and take it with them, so to speak, or arrange shipping for them to go back. That was what used to happen a whole lot. They'd come over here, they'd visit the shop, we'd talk, we'd get everything done, blah, blah, blah. They'd purchase it over here, and eventually it would go back to them.
Right, so COVID actually has that's that secondary impact, is nobody's actually traveling here to buy it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
But, so what you're describing is a DDU situation, so a delivery duties unpaid, where you're shipping it over and the consumer takes the responsibility.
Yes.
Right.
Now, would you offer a DDP, which is essentially you build it into the price, they pay for it up front? Doesn't really matter. Net is still the same cost, but the consumer experience might be a little bit better.
Yes and no. I don't know if it would be better. It would be another thing for us to deal with.
With the volume of sales, there's a lot more offline discussion and engagement. It's not like you really need a real volume-based, scalable solution, right?
Right. Volume is not the goal.
Yeah.
We had volume. It almost killed us. So,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, right.
When you're making everything, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I don't know that I want to sell 10 of those.
And have them delivered in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Shipping, what do you use for shipping, domestically and overseas?
Love to use FedEx. That's best case scenario, we use FedEx. Boy, last 12 months has changed a lot. Shipping rates have gone all over the place. Right at this exact moment, we probably ship almost completely. It's almost all of them. We ship USPS, we ship UPS, and we ship FedEx.
And DHL.
We'll shop the price and try to use the most economical one without sacrificing. We don't send things parcel post. It's going to be, insured and tracked and, so there's a certain level of shipping. It's not a stamp.
If you could hire a superhero for your company, what superpower would they have?
Crap. Flash. Yeah, speed. I'm thinking the same thing. Speed. We need speed. Well, faster. Can we do it faster? That's part of what this was about.
Yeah.
Part of what this machine does is, look at it from a guitar building standpoint, or even a cigar box neck standpoint. We paid an outsourced CNC shop $50 a pop to do a cigar neck. We would buy 30 of them at a time once a month. So that's 30 a month. And part of that was because it was a 2-week turnaround from the order to even get them. I can build 8 in a day.
Wow. And this cost you how much?
The materials is $10. The machine was $10,000.
And it's hard.
But it makes guitars. It also makes guitars and $2,000 a pop. Kind of do the math. Or $50 a neck. Yeah. Honestly, our best advantage for the coronavirus. We have no monthly payments. We live on our cash, and then we talk to we talk to the landlord and sit there and go, listen, have you seen the news? Rent is not going to be as easy this time, and communicate, just actually talk to the people that we do have a few bills with, and just let them know we are working, we are doing better, and like the economy, we are increasing. I expect that we'll have a decent Christmas. I don't know that it'll be record breaking, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't good.
But do you guys use any deferred payment solutions when you're having high ticket items?
Yes.
What do you use?
Via bill.
What is that?
Via bill is a way for a consumer to basically apply for financing on our website through our checkout.
So that's like a Klarna or a Sezzle or a Afterpay. They're kind of all these deferred plugins.
Yes.
Which is interesting for your Australia because Afterpay is so dominant there. It's one of those deferred.
Via bill is very big in Europe.
Okay.
That's part of the reason I went to Via bill.
Yeah, very cool.
That was.
How did you find out about that?
Wow, how did I find out? It's something I've always been looking for, and I think I just ran across the thing, and I reached out to them. They didn't reach out to me. I reached out to them. I did some homework. Sat at my computer one night. Yes, that's what I do. To answer your question, it is very common that my wife is sitting next to me watching television. I'm sort of watching television, and my computer is right next to me. And that's my night.
Yeah, that's me too. I'm always looking to see what's out there.
Yeah, he looks for the parts. I'm looking for more of the sales and the website stuff.
Aside from your personality traits, what is the biggest complaint your wives probably have about you both and your business?
Money. Not enough money yet.
Yet though, but so what's the trajectory in the next few years?
Oh, we could get very comfortable very quickly. Again, no debt. There's two of us. This is the entire shop. I think in the next 2 years easily, we could do 100 guitars a year and probably have them all sold.
Do you have an issue with getting sales?
No, that is the easiest part because I'm not looking for a lot.
Right.
That's one of I have purposely, again, this machine. We are in a price point. Yes, we're $2,000, and we might even get up to $3,000 on our guitars. But if you look at an equivalent, it's $7,000. We're dirt cheap compared to what is comparable to what we do. We are in the price of a mass-produced. We make 50,000 guitars a year. We're in that same price range. So sales is easy. It's literally, part of the reason I say 100 is because I did the math of how much I want to work. And 100 guitars is plenty of work for me. I'm not looking for 200.
That's good advice for a lot of companies that are in that interesting range of small to medium, right?
Yeah. The death of those companies is they try to grow beyond their ability to handle it themselves.
Right.
And before you grow, you have to sit there and go, the necks of the guitars is a perfect example. I can buy a neck for X amount. I know that it'll take me X amount of hours to make a neck after the cost of purchasing all the parts for the neck. Then that's going to either have to hire somebody to do it, or I have to sacrifice something I'm doing to do it.
Right.
And next thing you know, you're not making money. You're losing money because of yourself. And then you try to hire somebody, and then you're still not making money because Lord knows when you started the whole idea, you didn't have somebody's salary in mind, so you didn't price it right. Growth is scary. You have to really slow it down and say, okay, how much can I grow in my own or my partner? Really realistically, how much are we going to be able to do?
closing comments or advice you have for companies, small companies that want to expand globally, especially online?
Research your product. Research what it is you're selling. Is it what's over there already?
How do you research that?
Well, for us on the guitars, I have gone to many guitar sites, music stores over in Europe. I mean, Germany, France, Britain, Spain. You have to do them each by each because they're separate countries and they're going to have separate little people that are doing certain things.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you, in the UK, there are more cigar box builders than there are in Spain.
And you found this out through researching online?
Google, Bing, a lot of sites, a lot of our manufacturers' sites. I'd go to like a comparable guitar, like Sir, and I would go to their dealer list, and I'd say, okay, who's selling their guitars? And then I'd go to their website, and I'd be like, what are you selling? Is Sir the only big line that you've got? What else are you bringing in? And then you find out a new company. And you go to them and you find more people in the networking and how they're putting it all together, and you can get an idea of what's going on over there.
We talk a lot about finding your tribe and that it transcends kind of the borders. Do you have a comment around that? I mean, how do you find your tribe? And is it unique to geography, or is your tribe? Are there universal traits among the people who use your guitars that you can target globally?
Yes. Cosmetics. Popular cosmetics. There are in things that happen with the guitars, and yes, you can target those people, and those people become your tribe, so to speak. Yes, I believe completely in the tribe. Be in your tribe. Do not try for someone else's tribe. I watch lots of companies that, hey, we've got $1 million idea. Well, great. So now we're going to come up with another idea, and we're going to try to target something completely different from what we have. And it goes, and for us in the guitar business, the Fender Guitar Company has no reason to make an archtop humbucking guitar any more than the Gibson Guitar Company has any reason of making a 3 single coil bolt neck guitar. And both companies throughout history have tried to make each. And you can just read those histories.
Yeah,
that should deter you.
Yeah, it should. It'll show you how it went for them.
That should tell you, don't do that.
Because nowadays with social media and everything, as soon as somebody tries something new, it's like there's 4,000 people blasting it and 3 people praising it.
Yeah.
So it's just, but the 3 people are praising it are, that brand's devotee. They'll defend them till they die, and everybody else is like, why are these guys making this when this is what they do? That's why we don't do telecasters.
Be you. Be you. Don't try to be them. They will do it better than you.
Yeah. That's what they do. Again, I don't paint. There's guys that paint. Let them paint. Yeah. That's what they do. They're really good at it. Yeah. I don't make...
I'm a wood junkie.
Yeah.
So, yes, we use all sorts of crazy woods.
Yeah, we do.
Because I know what they are.
Very cool. Are you investing at all in social media? Are you paying?
Yes. I will invest more money in the European than I will in the U.S. The U.S. is easier for me to reach, so I don't spend as much money reaching the U.S.
If you're selling online and you're not selling global, you pretty much are an idiot. So, I mean.
Click on the video, subscribe, follow us to stay local, go global. This is Vanbassador.